Hello there, Pepper Hernandez from drpepperhernandez.com, coming to you with information from the Cannabis Holistic Institute. We are going to talk about today THCA. Now, we had another video on THC and now it's THCA. We'll go talking a little bit about THCV in a little while. But let's talk about THCA. THCA is raw plant material. Okay, the leaves, the flower, before it has been decarbed, which means heated. Once it's been heated, it becomes THC, and that has a psychoactive effect. But for those people who want no psychoactive effects, you could use CBD. CBD is good for certain things and ailments, which we talked about in another video, and we talk about at length in classes in the Cannabis Holistic Institute. But today we're just going to talk about the THCA. Now, this is probably one of my favorite ways to get this into my body. The delivery system here is 5 leaves, juicing the leaves with your juice that you have already. Make sure that your leaves are organic. You're getting them from organic farms, because the worst thing you could do is possibly get raw leaves that are coated in chemicals. Like, you don't even need that in your body, right? Like, at all. So if they're organic or you're growing at home, you're growing them on your own, making sure that you're putting only the best organic things into your soil, that your soil's organic, that your water's uber clean, it doesn't have any chemicals, and it's like purified. Get it down. Dial it down, just like the farmers do with every other crop, right? Or they should be. So if you're doing that and you're doing the leaves for juicing purposes only, some of the best things that you can do, I have a very sensitive body, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my backstory. When I was going through all of those things, actually, a few years back, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, before, CBD was legal, before it was even looked at as medicine, I had a tumor the size of a grapefruit in my body, attached to my left ovary and fallopian tube. I was told that I'd have to have surgery, then I would probably have to go into some type of remission, getting hormone therapy, as well as this was a huge cancer scare at the time. So the best I could hope for was that it hadn't spread to my lymphatic system and that I'd be in chemo. Like, it was just like this whole other reality that I wasn't prepared for or wanted to go down. So what I did was I went on up to now famous Murder Mountain, which, by the way, people there are so very, 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 very kind. Everyone has their stories, right? But I've spent years and years up there, never had an issue. But whatever, it is what it is. So going up there, traveling up there to see a very close family member, my brother, who was up there at the time, working on this beautiful organic farm, transitioned into like running the farm. But at the time, I went up and just gathered leaves and juiced them while I was up there for a weekend, and then I would travel back down, have them in a big jar, all the juice, freeze that into ice cube trays and put those in my freezer and just continue to collect and collect and collect. Now, you can collect your leaves and put them in the freezer, but it's kind of harder to do. So if you just get your leaves fresh, juice them, put them in the fridge in the ice cube trays, then you got it. So as I was doing that, and with a tumor, also had seizures at the time, cancer scare, all these things were happening, and so I started juicing, and I would do up to 4 cubes a day. There's a publication out there. It was the Shamrock Shake that I was making every day, which is basically just the 4 cubes of juice from an indica dominant. For me, I needed an indica dominant Kush plant, and it was just the leaves, non-psychoactive, so I was getting all the THCA. I didn't know exactly what I was getting at the time because this kind of research wasn't out. This was, maybe like 5, 6 years ago, if I hadn't already said that. And long story short, my cancer indicators decreased in a huge way. Never had to take any kind of hormone therapy. I've never had to take chemo. I'm fine. My lymphatic system's pretty all right too. So, you know, all those allopathic physicians that said all those kind of things, which was weird because they were really good friends of mine at the time, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. Now, if you can't get that in juicing form, there are products coming out on the market. There are a couple really good products coming out on the market, but they're powdered form, dehydrated, powdered leaf and plant matter. Make sure it's from an organic farm. Call the company. Ask them, is it isolate? Is it from an organic farm? Are you dehydrating it? Are you freeze dried? Ask all the good questions. Like, you're spending good money on these products. Like, get the stuff that's right on. If you can't grow it, right? Or if you can't ask your neighbor, hey, can I leaf for you this weekend? And then go over and like get your leaves, juice them, put them in, you know, again, ice cube trays full of juice. You can add cucumber juice to them to make them go a little bit longer if you want, because sometimes if you use the Champion juicer, it's going to be very thick. And that thickness is going to be like a paste. And that's why I was adding that to like a fresh raw made almond milk, which is just basically a handful of soaked almonds, purified water, Vitamixer, you got almond milk, right? And then you put a couple cubes. So I was up to 4 cubes a day and reduced the inflammation in my own body, reduced seizures, which, you know, all that stress, you know, that's anxiety, and all that stress is causing seizures, but I did that. And then didn't realize this was happening, didn't realize that, but it happened for me. So I can attest to THCA being definitely the way to go for me with my particular ailments. So if you're wanting to go in that direction, you need a little bit more information. There are some articles out there. I've written a few. There are other people that have written some, and there's a lot of information out there. So that's the THCA. Again, that is raw plant material, and it doesn't matter which strain. Again, if you're highly sensitive to cannabis, even though it's not decarbed and you're still a little bit sensitive to it like I was, I chose indica dominant strains like the Kush varieties, like more of the body high relaxant kind of stuff. I didn't choose sativa, you know, like the headbands and like all I didn't go there because I was already feeling a little bit altered just from having into my body. That's just how sensitive I am. So if you're new to this whole thing and you're just going to get whatever leaves you can, make sure at least that they're organic. Your farmer's not using pesticides or chemicals. You know, they have ethical growing operation going on, and yeah, then go for that. So that is, or if you can get juice in little 1 ounce things from your dispensary, ask them, or ask your dispensary to ask their farmers to donate their leaves, because there's this whole piece. If you we're in Northern California or any kind of cannabis farm, then you understand this, but there's this whole process of growing that's a kind of maybe mid or end season where it's called leafing. And people come in and they just like take all the leaves off so then the sun can get and aerate throughout and the buds can grow more. And then what do they do with those leaves? They have been in, you know, the last 30 or more years, probably longer than that. Except for the smart ones, they probably used it for something. But most people, you know, take that and dump it over the side of the mountain, or they dispose of that, or just put it in their compost or whatever. But if you are growing, keep those leaves if you can, or if you want to. Keep those leaves, juice those leaves, cube those up, give them to somebody in need. Put a little post out like, hey, free leaves, whatever. Utilize those in your community because those are very high in THCA. Next video, we're going to be talking about THCV, and we're just going to keep on going down the cannabinoids. So hopefully you learned a little something from this video. tune in with me again for the next one. Pepper Hernandez from drpepperhernandez.com. If you're interested in the Cannabis Therapy Consultant ongoing program, there are 10 classes that you have to take in order to get certified, but it's an ongoing program, so there's videos and speakers uploaded at all times because we want to keep you in the know. And you can go over to Cannabis Holistic Institute, or you can go through the Dr. Pepper Hernandez website to find out more information, to fill out an application online. At this time, it is mostly MDs, PhDs, NDs, RNs, is people that are in the holistic health practitioner field, the allopathic, naturopathic field. It's that whole entire spectrum. But we are taking applicants who are just very passionate and want to educate other people on what's going on and how to heal themselves. So tune in with me if you would like. Have a magical, wonderful, beautiful day, and we'll talk to you again later. Bye.